I just want all the money. Yeah, I just want all the money. I'm out in Miami, God. They call it the murder God. Killers rolling with me. My chopper, my what you call it. Ayy, she just want all the lean. More wet than the finer thing. Go shopping for Rolex. Necklace and diamond ring. She tell me on anything. I go let this shimmy ring. There's money I'm counting, it come like a fountain, so I keep a great thing.
To the dish with Candace, and today we have Alexis Battle. Today we're going to speak upon, who Alexis is. Who is she as a person? Why is she? Why does she do the things that she does? And who is she going to become? Alexis, who is Alexis?
Who is Alexis? It's a question I ask myself a lot because I feel that I'm not the same person I was last year, so to speak. I feel like I'm constantly evolving, I'm constantly changing, and I'm constantly learning. So Alexis is a lot of things. Alexis is a 21-year-old. Alexis is a blogger. Alexis is, a good friend to be around. Yeah. In a few short words. Alexis is a New Yorker.
Okay. So what makes you the way you are?
Well, I feel like I am the way I am because of a lot of experiences I've been through. And yeah, I feel like that's kind of what molded me to the person I've become today.
If you don't mind, could you share?
An experience?
An experience.
Okay.
With the world, of course.
Well, I'm originally from New York, and I left when I was little, and I also moved back when I was slightly older, but I lived in Atlanta for quite some time of my life, and living in Atlanta, I wasn't entirely happy, and I kind of, everybody in high school is trying to find themselves and figure out where they fit in this big world, and I was trying to find myself and figure out what I wanted to do with myself, and at first I wasn't I was going to be a doctor, I was going to be an OBGYN, things like that, just go where the money is. That's what my parents would tell me to do. But then I realized I wasn't truly happy doing that. So through a series of unfortunate events, I ended up having to move up here to the DC, Maryland area. And I would say that was one of the best things I could have ever done for my life because I felt like Maryland or living up here truly helped mold me as a person.
So you would say at every dark, place in the world, you can find light at the end of the tunnel.
There's a silver lining, yeah, definitely.
So when you came to, was it Maryland or Largo area?
Mm-hmm.
What did you find? What is the first thing that you noticed?
The first thing that I noticed is that it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to be living in the hood or something. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just didn't know what to expect, So when I first arrived here, it was cold, it was winter. I moved up here January 7th, going on 4 years ago now. So it was freezing, and I didn't really know what I was going to do, but I knew it was just a new chance, so to speak. So I felt a little excited for it.
You like fresh beginnings?
Yeah, change is good.
Yeah.
Change is very good.
So I know that you currently attend PGCC.
Yes.
And you're majoring in?
Communications.
And why is that?
Well, when I first attended PG, like I said, still trying to figure out what I want to do, I was interested in a lot of different things. I was straying away from the medical field, but I was thinking about psychology as a major. And psychology requires, as you know, a lot of schooling. So it wasn't about that life. I was like, I don't think I want to be in school forever. So somehow along the way, my first love was fashion. I've always wanted to be in fashion or do something, not necessarily designing, because a lot of people automatically think, oh, you're into fashion, so you want to be a stylist, you want to be a designer. That's not necessarily what I'm trying to pursue. What I wanted to pursue was what you call a buyer. So I wanted to become a fashion buyer and, buy for a major company or boutique or whatever. And PG didn't have that major, but the closest thing to it would be communications because some of the general credits transfer on. So that was how I became into communications. And now because I've been here and I've been in my major and involved in it a lot longer, I've kind of just fell in love with it, honestly.
But I also know that you have a concentration in PR. So
yes.
Why?
Why is that? I can't necessarily see myself doing broadcasting, But I think PR is a better fit for me. I like the idea of a publicist and not necessarily spinning, because that's not what PR people necessarily do, but I just like the idea of that. I think that's a better fit for me. I also like journalism because I like to write and express my ideas. Like I said, I have a blog, so.
So define when you mean spinning.
Well, you know, when a crisis comes about, a PR professional will have to somehow form and curve the story to the most appealing way to the audience. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people think that PR specialists kind of spin the truth, and it's not that they're necessarily doing that, they're just making it the story a bit more appealing.
Interesting.
Yeah, not even necessarily an interest level, you know, it's more so how is the best way we can say this if something bad was to happen, you know? If there's a big crisis that happened in pop culture, in politics, whatever whatever you name it, there's a way that you have to go about the situation. There's a right and a wrong way to do it. And a right and a wrong way, and you have to choose your words wisely, etc.
So for all of our youthful listeners from the ages of, let's say, 13 to 25, what advice would you have for them to pursue PR, the concentration in PR, or if they're looking to go into the mass communication field?
Well, the biggest advice I guess I would have for them is definitely start off with communications, because the field of communications is just so vast and there's so much you can do. I don't even know if I'm going to pursue PR 100%, but I like the idea of it, you know? I also like the idea of writing. I also like the idea of a lot of things. So I feel like if you just start in a certain direction, then you can eventually find your own pathway. You know, everybody's different. I can't give you the handbook on how to do a certain thing, but you can watch what I did and use it as a template to apply it to your own life. And that's typically kind of what I find myself doing with a lot of situations. I see how other people react to things or how certain things have worked out for others. And if it might not have worked out in the best favor, I use that as a template. I apply it to my own life and I try to make it work for me.
So what have you applied to your own life that you can share with them?
What's something that I've applied to my own life? I suppose school. I mean, I come from a family of very prestigious people, and I didn't necessarily go straight into university, and not everybody, can go ahead and do that. So I went my own path. I didn't go ahead and go into like the medical field like everybody wanted me to. The template was, you go to school, you go to medical school, you become a doctor. And I was like, okay, go to school, check, but I don't know about these middle parts. Let me do something that works best for me. So I think now I found something that I truly could grow to love. So yeah.
Well, we also know that you have a blog.
Yep, this is true.
And it is progressing very nicely, if I may say myself. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what made you love fashion and why you would like to share this blog of fashion to the world.
Okay. Well, the name of my blog is entitled Out of My Element, and I felt like moving up here and being in high school, especially I will go back to when I was going to high school in Atlanta. When I went to high school in Atlanta, like I said before, I was trying to find myself and figure out what works for me, and I'm just this little awkward kid, whatever. It was well liked, I was cool, it was chilling, but I still didn't really know what I wanted to do. I had a friend, and she, we're very close still today. She was kind of like the it girl, this is Atlanta, so everybody kind of wears the same thing. No one's really too expressive, so to speak. And she was that person in our school. She was kind of like the person that would do these big scandalous things with how they dressed or whatever. And she kind of gave me inspiration to do the same and be able to be myself. So that's kind of where I drew inspiration from doing Out of My Element, because I feel like you should push yourself to the limit every day. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you're put in an uncomfortable situation in order to grow. So you can't progress unless you put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. I feel like it's important to do something that scares you you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
So, would you say that that something that you had in your past experience made you push forward into fashion the way you did?
no, not necessarily. I've always liked clothing, and I've always liked fashion and stuff like that. It's just one of the many things I do love. And yeah, it's always been a love of mine. It's nothing like specifically that pushed me into it, but go ahead, I'm sorry.
As you said that, you know, things, you're put in a situation so you can grow. And so how would you compare that to fashion?
Well, I feel like fashion is expressive. You know, you're able to convey a story with what you're wearing and with your style. And I feel like it's always important to try something new. So you can do that with clothes or how you style your hair or anything like that, your appearance.
As you are, you know, stunning today.
No,
yes.
no, it's just some chill stuff.
So what exactly will you be discussing on your blog?
Well, the direction I had my blog going in previously was just me doing outfit of the days, me doing little inspiration pics, things for the upcoming seasons. If there was a collection that came out, I might talk about it if I wanted to, just things of that nature. But like I said, I'm a person who has many different loves. I don't like to necessarily box myself in one thing. So moving forward, I'd actually like to take it in a whole different direction. I want this to become bigger than me. You know, I want it to kind of be like a legacy, so to speak. I don't want it to just be about me. I want it to be about everyone. I draw inspiration from everywhere, you know? Mm-hmm. So I feel like I wanted to focus on fashion. I wanted to focus on music. I wanted to focus on art. Yeah, it's gonna go in a whole different direction for 2016, but yeah.
Where's the next place that you feel that you're gonna draw this
inspiration? Mm-hmm. The next place, I don't know. I'll see what happens. I have a little book of things I might jot down, but as of right now, I don't know.
Can you share with us some of
the things in my little book of bright ideas? Well, I don't know. I mean, if I feel like doing an idea for an outfit post, I might see something like in the city in DC. I always go into DC. So if I see something that I like in the city, I draw inspiration from that, like an outfit that I would like, or even like on the social media. It's the greatest part about it. You're able to share your ideas and things like that so fast. It's great to draw inspiration from that too. So sometimes I get a lot of my ideas from social media as well. So
any celebrities in particular?
Let's see, if I had to pick one, I really admire Rihanna's style. Rihanna's like they always has been, but she's definitely one of my top inspirations in terms of style. There's some type of edge about her that I always enjoyed, and I kind of try to embody that, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you could say 3 words or give at least one good of advice to, our demographic right now, who would you or what would you say to them?
3 words of advice?
3 words of advice or one phrase that you would live by.
You got to start somewhere. I feel like when I first started my blog, at first I was insecure. I was like, man, nobody's going to even pay attention to it. What's the point? But after a while I started realizing I have to do this for myself. If I want this thing to become bigger than me, you have to start somewhere. So okay. I feel like just starting, getting your foot in the door is probably the most important thing. And consistency.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for listening today. This was The Dish with Candace, and this is Alexis Battle. Thank you guys, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Are we done? Yes, we're done.
Jump out the Rari, then jump out the rape, and I hop on my jelly, then hop on some bait. They jump out the face.